Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide for this weekly dose of 7 days under 7 minutes. Today is Sunday, June 1st, 2025. As we do every Friday, we examine economic milestones, those pivotal decisions, crises, and innovations that have shaped the way wealth is created, distributed, and controlled. From May 26th to June 1st, 2025, we've seen key developments and remembrances that place this week squarely on the economic map. We begin in the United States, where the Federal Reserve released minutes from its latest meeting on May 29th, signaling it will maintain current interest rates longer than expected. Inflation remains persistent, and Fed officials are divided on the path forward. This cautious stance reflects not just a domestic balancing act, but the long shadow of 1970s stagflation, reminding us that monetary policy is as much art as science, shaped by history as well as data. In Nigeria, the central bank announced new foreign exchange regulations aimed at stabilizing the naira, which has faced intense devaluation pressure throughout 2025. The policy, released on May 30th, imposes tighter controls on dollar access for importers and speculators. The move echoes similar strategies from the 1980s and 1990s during oil shocks, once again highlighting the fragile relationship between commodity dependence and currency stability in developing economies. Germany celebrated the 75th anniversary of the Grundgesetz, its basic law, on June 1st, and while the occasion was largely constitutional, it also highlighted the economic reconstruction that followed World War II. The foundation of the German social market economy, known as the Wirtschaftswunder or economic miracle, was deeply intertwined with that post-war legal framework. The anniversary triggered public discussions about how Germany's commitment to stability, worker protections, and industrial strength evolved into today's economic powerhouse. In China, the government quietly marked the 15th anniversary of its Belt and Road Initiative's African expansion, which began in earnest in mid-2010. While not publicly commemorated, several African finance ministers met in Nairobi this week to reassess infrastructure loan terms. These discussions come amid rising concern over debt sustainability and China's shifting global strategy. It serves as a reminder that the long game of economic influence can outlast headlines but rarely escapes consequences. Back in the US, May 31st marked 95 years since the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act passed in the Senate in 1930. Though it wouldn't become law until June, the vote intensified global trade tensions during the Great Depression. Economists widely regard the act as one of the worst policy mistakes of the 20th century, sparking retaliatory tariffs worldwide. As trade barriers re-emerge in today's geopolitical landscape, the lessons of Smoot-Hawley are once again being revisited, especially in debates about decoupling from China. In India, the Ministry of Finance released a new report on digital payment adoption on May 27, revealing that UPI transactions now exceed $2.5 trillion annually. The rapid growth of India's real-time payment system has become a case study in financial inclusion and state-driven fintech transformation. It draws historical parallels to banking revolutions in the 20th century, when credit cards and ATMs reshaped how people access money. And finally, on May 26, Argentina's central bank launched a cryptocurrency education campaign, signaling a shift toward cautious public engagement with digital assets. Amid inflation rates topping 180%, Argentine officials are walking a delicate line between embracing innovation and avoiding further monetary instability. In a country with a long history of financial crises, every economic experiment is tied to a national memory of boom and bust. From the policy levers of central banks to the echoes of historical trade wars and the digital frontiers of financial inclusion, this week's economic developments remind us that money, while numerical, is never neutral. It carries the weight of memory, power, and the choices we make under pressure. Thank you for joining us for this episode on economic milestones. If you found this analysis insightful, subscribe and share the episode with those tracking the pulse of history through finance. Up next, our Saturday episode, where we explore military history and the battles that defined nations. Until then, I'm your guide for History Explained, where understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.